My husband cheated on me without a green card, so now he has to pick between never seeing his parents or his daughter again. Posted by u/empty_researcher_348. I, 26F, and my husband, 25M, have been married for almost 2 years and have a 6-month-old baby. I work part-time only to supplement our income and to pay for the legal process of getting him documented. We are very fortunate that it seems like it may be an easy process, maybe 2 years max, for his residency, but now I'm going to cancel everything and ask for a divorce. My routine used to be that I would wake up 1.5 hours before him in the morning to make his lunch, pack everything for work, and have his breakfast, coffee, and clothes ready so he could wake up, eat, get dressed, and head out within 30 minutes. He used to be satisfied with what I packed: freshly made chicken in either honey buffalo, lemon pepper, and salad, or some sort of chicken wraps, etc. Pure, healthy food. I did this because I wanted to make his life easier and show him I cared and loved him. I've done this since we first moved in together more than 3 years ago. Well, recently, I had to start including dinner leftovers because he started asking for more food, saying he was still hungry afterward. I thought it was odd because, whether I worked or not, he always came home to a prepared meal, so even if he wasn't full, he would be okay. But I explained it away by assuming he was bulking or something. So, I started including what I normally take to work, which caused me to either go without lunch and have to wait until after work or be late because I had to wait for food to be ready and take some. I'm breastfeeding and can't afford to skip meals. I would leave food cooking, such as in a crock pot or on low heat, depending on how long after I left he would get home. Well, last week, when I was packing his lunch, I found an unrecognized second fork in his lunchbox, which threw me off. I asked him about it, and he said he found it in the kitchen at work and brought it home. Odd, why didn't he just leave it there? I had already noticed small changes in him, but I gaslit myself into believing I was just being insecure because I had just had a baby. But this made the pit of my stomach churn. A few days later, I decided to go to his workplace during lunch to surprise him with dessert and let him see the baby. That's when I found out why he wanted more food. The coworker he told me no longer worked there, the same one I had caught him being too friendly with, and whom I had told him made me uncomfortable, was not only still working there but was eating the fresh lunch I had prepared for him, while he was eating the leftovers. I didn't cause a scene. Instead, I took pictures and added them to my folder of everything he's done before, from simple things like hearting other girls' stories after telling me he didn't, to naked pictures of a coworker from a previous job, which he got fired from because of her. I drove home crying, then packed my things. When I got home, I took the bassinet, everything I'd need for the baby, my essentials, and went to my sister and brother-in-law's house. I told them everything and even showed them our WhatsApp conversations where he told me she no longer worked there. I normally text him throughout the day, so he started texting and calling me, asking if I was okay, what was for dinner, and saying he was almost off work. Is everything okay? Then, he got to the house an hour earlier than usual, which also makes me question if he's been lying about his work schedule, and saw that my things, along with the babies, were gone. I left him a letter stating that he had 7 days to leave my house. My mom gave it to me when I was 20. I told him he could communicate with my mother if he wanted to see the baby, either when I'm at work or whenever he wanted, as long as he let her know in advance, and I would drop the baby off with her. For the time being, I didn't want anything to do with him. I also left the printed photos of him and his coworker eating lunch and laughing together underneath the letter. Later that night, when I decided I no longer wanted anything to do with him, I informed the lawyer. We had a group WhatsApp chat with me, him, the lawyer, the paralegal, and my brother-in-law, our co-sponsor, that I would no longer need his services. Then, I messaged the lawyer privately to ask if I could transfer our contract and the money I had already paid to his divorce and family practice instead. Unfortunately, he said no. There was some clause stating that if we decided not to pursue the case, we would lose the money we had invested. Additionally, his immigration practice is a partnership with different people than his family law practice. However, he said he would leave our case open until we got a response for our next appointment from the government. If we hadn't worked things out by then, he would cancel everything. This made my husband lose his mind because now, if he doesn't get his papers, he has to choose between his daughter and his parents, either risk never seeing his parents and family again or never seeing his daughter again if he leaves the country. He's been begging me to the point that I had to block him on everything. He came to my brother-in-law's house, and they told him to leave or they would call the police. Later, he came back drunk with his buddies, who were all scared off by my brother-in-law and his shotgun. I feel so lost, broken, and depressed. I also have security at work to ensure he doesn't show up at my office. My sister tells me to leave him but not to divorce him, so he can never get with anyone else and get his papers, but I can't do that to him. I went back home, only to check on the house and see if he was gone. I'm still staying with my sister, and surprisingly, there was no damage to anything. His belongings, only his, were gone. That gave me at least a little relief. I'm not looking for advice. I know I'm not going back. There is no longer any trust, my mental health wouldn't be safe in that relationship, and I know I can't have my daughter grow up seeing that kind of relationship as an example. I just needed to put this out there to solidify it in my mind and reflect on the fact that this has become a pattern. He has gone beyond disrespecting me, he has made me cook for her. I've been budgeting and trying to make things last, sometimes eating less than I need or skipping meals when possible. If a meal was heavier in carbs, I'd skip it, knowing I had enough for my milk supply. Also, I could pay bills, the lawyer, his gym membership, and his supplements. I lose out on rest and sleep to ensure the laundry and house are spotless while the baby sleeps. I've basically gone from being an independent, educated career woman to a 1950s housewife with a job and school, all because I blindly fell for this man. When I say I feel stupid, that's an understatement. Relevant comments. Commenter. Wait, you caught this man with naked pictures of a coworker before and didn't kick him to the curb right then? That man sounds horrible. Up. I'm glad you're taking appropriate measures, you deserve so much better. Op's response. I've been told by my sister to inform everyone that this was my first actual long-term relationship. She says that may give people a clue as to why I was so naive. It was also very early in the relationship, and we weren't living together yet. I met him when I was traveling around to local job sites where it was known that immigrants worked, posting information about local resources to help them with medical insurance, free clinics, and ESL programs for children and adults. I was working for a seasonal daycare program for agricultural workers. Commenter 2. How are you going without food if you both work and own your own home? Op's response. He makes below minimum wage due to his undocumented status. I work part-time at minimum wage because I can't be away from the baby due to breastfeeding. He also sends money to provide for his parents and younger siblings. Commenter 3. Why did adding more food to his lunch cause budgeting issues? Op's response. I was budgeting to save money for the lawyer's expenses, but now that I look back, it was basically him paying bills and pocketing the leftover for the gym, supplements, tools, paints, and whatever else, while my paycheck went to groceries, his family in Mexico, and diapers. And yes, I feel really stupid, naive, and blind. Commenter 4. What would get you more child support, him getting a green card and a permanent job here or not? Basically, when should you divorce? Op's response. This may be the numbness in me talking at the moment, but I don't need his money. He can contribute by buying her diapers, clothes, and other necessities. Now that I'm not catering to him, I can leave my part-time paper-pushing job, find a good daycare for my daughter, and go back to teaching. I might also just sell my second car and lower my car payment. A full-time job and one less person in my home also mean lower utilities since less is being used. No mortgage, no stupid expenses on random gym crap, $40 membership, plus protein, creatine, and supplements that cost at least $150 a month, not to mention whatever he was doing to that junk motorcycle. My sister and mom have talked me through my finances, and my brother-in-law said I could honestly keep my part-time job, get on government benefits, and spend more time with my daughter. But I think, mentally, I need to go back to teaching and feel the independence of being self-reliant again. Food stamps feel like just one more thing he will throw in my face. I don't know if I'm trying to hold on to what little pride I have left or if it's just the anger inside me that makes me want to show him and his chick that I am better without him. Commenter 5. I mean, he's not violent, so why are you expecting him to be? He cheated on you and likely got involved for citizenship. It's hard not to take it personally, but it happens every day. If it's any consolation, he's working the co-worker as a backup plan and probably doesn't give two hoots about her either. Op's response. I don't know, she doesn't have anything to offer. She doesn't have legal status either because she overstayed her visa, according to what I heard from a coworker of his whom I went to school with. According to her, that woman is younger, has no legal status or education, doesn't speak English, and has already gotten in trouble for being inappropriate in the workplace before. If there is proof that they are being inappropriate, that will be a strike against him and grounds for her termination. Apparently, she likes to call herself one of the guys because she works in a male-dominated job and degrades women by making jokes with the men. My connection at his job is how I was able to enter the cafeteria without him knowing I was going to be there. I don't know if she knows who I am, but I got close behind him, and she saw me without reacting and continued eating from my Tupperware, I know because my mom gave me a red one with Christmas decorations. He didn't even turn around and just kept eating from the basic Walmart Tupperware that contained last night's leftovers. Adds an edit to her post. Some things I want to clarify that I've been seeing in the comments. No, my sister isn't pushing me to stay in a relationship with him. She's telling me not to divorce him so that he can't just go find another woman to marry and use for the green card. No, I'm not taking anything from him that wasn't mine before we got married. Before me, he lived in a house with 7 other men, sharing a bedroom with a bunk bed, and he drove a 2000 Buick that he had to unplug from the battery in order to use again. That car got scrapped after the electrical system went out. The car he is using is my car, which I got in high school and used to get through high school, part-time/seasonal jobs, and community college. Also, my mom isn't dead. She gave me my childhood home because I was going to college, and it's a 10-minute commute from the college. She gave it to me because I'm the last of the kids. All my brothers and sisters are at least 10 years older, and aside from my sister who's helping me, they all live in different states. He left home with a motorcycle he's customizing, his gaming systems, clothes, and the guest bedroom TV, which was the only TV that was not mounted. Also, I'm not keeping his daughter from him. I just personally don't want to see him because I know he will try to give me a ton of excuses and try to make me understand him. He can speak to my sister or mom, and they will supervise him to see his daughter whenever he wants to. There is no battle in that. I don't think he's a bad father, but I just don't think my relationship with him is the example I want to give my daughter. Yes, I'm Mexican too. My dad came to the States and later brought my mom and 2 brothers and 2 sisters. It took a decade for us to see each other again, which is why I'm so apart from my siblings and the only one born here. Update 3 weeks later. Sorry it's been a while since I updated anyone. I've been busy sorting out my life, and this was supposed to be a throwaway, so I didn't expect it to blow up the way it did, much less that anyone would actually want updates. I guess I'll start with the most asked question. Did I leave him? Yes, I also got a full checkup, and I did have an infection. Luckily, I was able to treat it and recover without any further issues. This also confirmed his unfaithfulness because, as I mentioned, I had a baby not long ago. Throughout my pregnancy, they tested me for everything, and at 3 months postpartum, I had a full panel done when I got a UTI. My doctor wanted to ensure it was only that. Did I talk to him to get his side of the story? Yes, when I went to tell him about the infection, I let him speak his mind about everything. I only asked him for the truth, as there was nothing left for him to ruin, it was completely over at that point. Here's a basic TLDR. He never meant to hurt me, he loves his daughter and me. He enjoyed the attention, it was something new and exciting. It took his mind off the stress of bills, our child, my emotional state, and the general routine of his life. Life had gotten boring, and she entertained him. I'm sorry that your wife organized your previously chaotic life. That's about all I believe to be true out of the couple of hours of begging, excuses, gaslighting, and even blaming. The rest, in case you're curious. The infection is a common one that happens because of cow poop everywhere and because he goes outside to pee without washing his hands or something. She doesn't like men, she was just one of the guys. I only gave her lunch that day. It was just the one time, she forgot hers and asked me because she saw I had to. I would never stoop so low as to break my family. Why would you make such assumptions? Once I showed him my chart with my results and explained that this wasn't a normal infection like E. coli that you can get from poop, but an actual transmissible infection, he started to realize he couldn't talk his way out of it. I also explained that I hadn't slept with anyone since we met and that my doctor confirmed I would have known if I had any kind of transmissible disease during pregnancy. Not only is it common practice to test for all risks, but due to my high-risk pregnancy and preterm labor, she had tested for everything to find potential causes. Even after birth, they ran additional tests to determine what caused the preterm labor. Shortly after that, once he saw my doctor's note and listened to me, he admitted it. Side note, I have the best OB/GYN, she was amazing, listened to me, let me cry, and even had a nurse take my daughter out of the room so I could break down. She printed out information for me, reassured me that a simple medication would clear it up, and told me I shouldn't have any further issues. Anyway, he's staying at the dairy in a trailer the owner let him borrow. And for those who thought she would take him in, turns out she's engaged and about to get married while also doing an adjustment of status, getting her papers. As for me, I'm back to living on my own. My baby is doing great, I have another office job lined up for January, and I've applied to a few universities. I'm currently attending community college online, but if I get into a university, I think I'll move out of this town. My grandma said she would move with me to help. Some days are long, like tonight. It's late, and I can't sleep because I miss him. But I've been keeping myself busy by getting rid of things in my home to start fresh and get everything organized. I won't lie and say I'm doing great. On my days off, I don't get out of bed. My house is clean, but my bedroom has an overflowing laundry basket, and I've been using the guest blankets and pillows. People at work have noticed I've been slower, and I was offered time off, but I declined. However, now that the rumor of what happened has somehow reached my job, I might take it. Thank you to everyone for the support. Although I've had a few people call me names and send hateful messages, I appreciate those who left kind comments and showed me support. Relevant comments. Commenter. I remember something about his visa and how you were paying for him to become a legal citizen. I also remember that if you started divorce proceedings, it would mean he was likely going to be deported. What have you decided? Ops response. I don't want to make any legal decisions at the moment. I'm barely getting through leaving him, and I don't want to also be responsible for my daughter losing her dad because of his stupidity. Commenter 2. Don't listen to Reddit. These are decisions with huge ramifications. Do what you feel is right for you and your child. Ops response. I feel like there's no way out without severe damage. I feel like I'm in that bridge game from Squid Game, except all the tiles break with any decision, just some have lesser consequences than others. I currently don't want to make any decisions because I feel safe in limbo right now. Even though my logical reasoning understands that if he gets deported, it will be due to his own decisions, my emotional reasoning still feels responsible for it. I don't want him back. The betrayal and his dishonesty have shattered any trust I could ever have, and I don't think it would be good for my mental health to continue a relationship like that. I grew up watching my mom constantly question and wonder whether my stepdad was cheating, to the point where she neglected us because she was so consumed with making sure her husband wasn't being unfaithful. It turned a once loving, caring, and involved mother into a toxic person, someone who would take her daughters out at 3 a.m. to shady neighborhoods just to see if her husband's car was parked outside another woman's house. I don't want that for myself or my daughter. I saw cheating ruin my mother without her ever being unfaithful. I saw it destroy my sister's first engagement. I've seen my brothers bleed from aggressive, unfaithful women who attack them for wanting to take their kids out of toxic environments filled with drugs and other men. Cheating is something I don't want any involvement in, and I've seen what it does to people. But at the same time, I feel a responsibility to ensure my daughter has her dad in her life. So for now, I'm keeping my distance because I know what's best for her, and I'm trying my best to stick to the logical conclusion, not the emotional one. No matter how much I miss him, I remind myself that I don't miss this person talking to me. I miss the person who made me feel safe, loved, and cared for. And even then, I'm starting to look back and realize that a lot of it was just me in a delusional state, thinking that him hugging me when I asked, me going to him for kisses, me cuddling with him, was all love. I felt safe with him not because he made me feel safe, but because I thought I was. But looking back, it's embarrassing to admit that I was the one who initiated most of the affection. Maybe some of the people who messaged me saying I was psycho were onto something. I'm starting to feel like maybe I really was in some delusional state and that he was just using me. Commenter 3. Your situation is very similar to mine, which started 15 years ago. I made the decision to stay to ensure he got his green card and remained with his son. In turn, I received so much abuse from him. He is a narcissist and subjected me to all kinds of abuse. I stayed because of my son and finally decided to leave. I was with him for 15 years, and once I left, he cut off contact with our child, making all the abuse I endured feel pointless. Ops response. He was never abusive in any physical way, but looking back, I believe he was very manipulative and immature. I don't want to waste any more time. If it were possible, I would go back and refuse to ever give him the time of day. It's been the worst month of my life, and whether I went back or stayed, I don't think it would have ever gotten better. I've lost so much hair from stress, and my milk supply has plummeted to the point where I think I may need to supplement with formula soon. My mom tells me to just switch to formula because all my stress is affecting the baby, but with a formula shortage, I don't want to. I don't think my situation would have been any better if I had stayed because I don't believe he would have changed his behavior, just hidden it better. My trust issues, which I already had before this whole mess, would have driven me into the same stress, so I just give God thanks for opening my eyes and not putting me in a worse situation. I'm sorry your ex was just as horrible and that you feel all your suffering was pointless. I believe it shows how important your son was to you and how selfless you are. Op adds an edit to her post. Woke up to my husband's call, he apologized again. I'm still not budging, but he told me he was talking to some guys at work about free clinics or where they go when they're sick, and it turns out that same woman has been sleeping with a few of them. I don't know if it was around the same time, but one of them told my husband where to get treated for free because he got it from her too. His apology sounded more sincere this time, but I believe it's worse because it only came after he realized he wasn't special to her, just another one of the guys she slept with. But I say sincere because he didn't make many excuses. Instead, he seemed to hold himself accountable, saying he had won the lottery and messed up. He begged for a second chance because he doesn't know what came over him. He says he hates coming home to an empty trailer and misses seeing his daughter right after work. What shook me up was when he said he used to feel more exhausted when he came home to us because the baby would be excited to see him and would cry to be held by him. During the week, I would often leave the same easy meals made for him so he could eat while I left for work, and he started to feel tired of it. It was a boring routine, the same foods during the week, coming home and having to watch the baby so I could go to work. That solidified for me that I don't ever want to find another relationship, much less go back to him. The routine I worked so hard to build for my family was a chore to him. I literally dealt with a fussy, tired child until he got home so she would mostly sleep, and he would only need to give her a single bottle, but even that was too hard for him. He said he would give up the world just to be back in his routine because now he comes home to an empty trailer with just a bed and a fold-out table. He hasn't stuck to his diet because he doesn't have time to prep. He started spending money on lunch because he doesn't have food made for him. He says he misses the baby so much that he now cries when he goes home. I told him I don't know what to tell him about that, but if he wants to see the baby when I go to work, he can go see her at my mom's, who now babysits for me. Knowing my mom, she makes food, and she would never deny him a meal, so he can go over there, eat, and be with the baby after work. But I had to go, I couldn't talk anymore. I've never cried so hard in my life after that call. It doesn't help that it's raining today. I think I'm calling into work today and tomorrow to talk to my boss about taking those days off. Second update same day. I was logging off for a while, but I figured I'd update everyone to let you know that she found my home and has started harassing me. I guess her fiancé found out somehow, and she thinks it was because of me. I feel like things are just going from bad to worse. Since around 4 p.m. today, she has done the following. Punctured a hole in one of my tires. Wrote home wrecker on my front bay window. Keeps calling me from different numbers, and now I'm receiving spam text messages after blocking all her numbers and stopping answering unknown calls. Threatened, I'll ruin your car like you ruined my relationship. This has all happened just this afternoon. I called the police, but by the time they arrived, she was gone. They said I had no proof of what she was doing, so unless they catch her in the act or I provide evidence, their hands are tied. My mom and stepdad said they would install cameras at my home, and my mom is keeping my car at her place. They also want me to stay with them, but I don't want to leave my home in case she tries something against it. The most I was able to get was a police officer patrolling the area, meaning they'll be nearby and occasionally pass by. I'm not sure what to do. I don't even know who her partner is, and I'm already dealing with leaving my husband, now she's harassing me too. Editor's note, updates 3, 4, and 5 are comment updates and not standalone posts. Third update 8 days later. Thank you, my baby and I are doing better. She's okay at the moment, but unfortunately, I've started to show some physical symptoms from the extreme stress I've been going through. As of Wednesday, I haven't had any more issues with the woman since my stepdad put up cameras. The moment one of the cameras alerted me to movement, I got on the phone with the police. I'm not sure what she was planning, but she spent enough time under my kitchen window and laundry window that the police showed up and got her for trespassing. Now, with my video evidence, I've sent it to the guy who was originally our immigration lawyer. He said he will be filing an immigration report on her and using my original picture of her working along with my video evidence of her trespassing, and I don't know what else, to prove that she is not only in the country with an inactive visa but also working and engaging in illegal activities. I don't know what she wanted, but if she had left me alone, I wouldn't have done anything. I didn't report her to her fiancé or take any action against her. Everything happened naturally, and now, in order to protect myself, I've had the lawyer report her for me. Fourth update 1 month later. We're okay. I've been numb to the whispers and just waiting for the office closing days for the holiday vacation to start so I can go to Mexico for a while until our office reopens in mid-January. I've made friends with my area's police officer, so he comes by and sweeps the area often. He has even had his wife stay with me to help with my daughter and keep me safe. I quit posting because the post actually blew up enough that she found out about it. I guess I wasn't vague enough. Apparently, her husband uses Reddit, and after he found out about her cheating and the drama, he put 2 and 2 together and reached out to me. I was able to confirm it was him by phone and later met in person to talk. It turned out he actually reported her overstay, but somehow she didn't get deported. However, she, along with a few others, including my ex, were all fired from their jobs because of his report. According to him, she won't ever be able to renew her visa again because she came as a tourist, which means she can't work. He apologized for her craziness and offered to help me, but I turned him down because his involvement might actually make things worse. My ex started sleeping around again and, I guess, still hasn't learned his lesson. I don't care anymore, though. I've made peace with the fact that he's not the person I married. I'm so disgusted by him now that I don't even like him kissing my daughter. He does come to see her when my mom watches her, especially now that he got fired in his job hunting. I ask my mom to have him leave before I pick her up because he starts crying the moment he sees me and tries to hug me. The police have been useless, aside from the friendly officer and his wife. It's not just that girl anymore, it's about 3 girls who are her friends, plus a few others who have slept with my ex, who harass me because he tells them he loves me and wants me back. I don't know if he's just stupid or manipulating them to attack me for him. Either way, I've deactivated all of my social media accounts, and the ones I do use are all private or under a different name so I can still access them, but I just don't post. Sorry it's long and boring. 5th update 1 month 2 weeks later. Honestly, I'm trying to focus on healing now. After everything, I'm disgusted to think back to a time when I slaved for him. I look at him, and it's just not the same. I used to see his green eyes and love his long lashes. Now, I notice his pimple scars and bad skin. I used to be excited for him to come home, always thinking of something special to surprise him with or something that would make him smile. Now, I just wonder how many times he was screwing around while I was fixing him something special or preparing everything so he could come home to a warm, clean, and welcoming space. I never thought I would dread seeing him or feel anxiety when he's near. I'm just focusing on myself now.